Mr. Nick Barron, CEO of MEDIACOM, Middle East and North Africa, welcome.
Thank you very much.
We are now in Tunisia, in the new office of MEDIACOM. What do you feel about the opening of a new office in Tunisia?
It seems to have taken quite a long time, but we're very excited to have finally got the business up and running off the ground. It was part of our ambition, really from when I first took over the regional role in 2011, to become a fully owned WPP operation here in Tunisia. We see the whole of North Africa as a potentially very exciting and dynamic growth market, and it was important for us to invest in the team and support our clients here in the region.
Since how many years MEDIACOM are based in the region, Middle East and North Africa?
MEDIACOM in itself was actually incorporated just over 11 years ago, but here obviously in Tunisia, this is our month one as we start the business.
Good. You was appointed in 2011 CEO for MEDIACOM.
Yeah.
Why this appointment? What kind of strategy?
Previously, I'd been the CEO for MEDIACOM in Russia and the CIS, where I was based for 3 years. That particular role had reached its completion. The opportunity within the Middle East North Africa region was very clear to Stephen Allen, who's my global chairman and CEO. Stephen has an ambition to be the #1 agency in the world. Our MENA operation wasn't #1 in the region, so he asked me if I would take up the challenge of coming into Middle East North Africa and building our reputation and our brand and our business base over the next however many years it takes to complete that particular task.
And MEDIACOM was the Media Agency Network of the Year?
Yeah, we've just won that at the International Awards, which was very nice. I think it's the third time in 4 years that 4 or 5 years that we've won that accolade. It's always nice to be recognised by your peers and your industry, but of course the most important thing is actually to do great work for clients, make them profitable, and then that's actually, for me, the biggest challenge.
Let's talk about clients. Who are the clients for the MEDIACOM companies in Middle East and North Africa?
We have a broad portfolio of international clients where we work with relationships either regionally or globally, and that includes the Middle East. But then we also have local clients within each one of the territories. Obviously, Middle East North Africa is relatively unique in that the relationships that a lot of international brands have might be through affiliations or licenses. So they're not always part of a bigger global network. So part of the challenge is to win the hearts and minds of some local operations, not just take business out of international alignments.
Okay. You are based in Dubai and now focusing on North Africa. Is there now a special focus on North Africa? Company strategies, there is a need of advertiser to open office and to understand more the North Africa region?
Yeah, I think so. For us personally, the strategy is multifaceted. When I joined MEDIACOM here in the Middle East, we had 4 offices, and clearly to service 18 countries, that's not enough by any stretch of the imagination. I have a really firm belief in us being on the ground in each individual country so that our strategists and our insight teams can really understand local consumers. We have a planning strategy which is about walking a mile in the consumer's shoes, and on that basis we can then advise our clients. So I've always wanted to expand our footprint substantially. So North Africa is critical, but we're also expanding our operations in Arabia and in the Levant at the same time.
Do you feel that there is a gap between Middle East and North Africa? Because lots of people say, okay, the MENA region, but there is lots of differences between culture, in media, consumption. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think there is. Each of the North African countries are very unique. I was talking to a colleague last night, I come from the United Kingdom, and each region within the United Kingdom considers itself to be very unique. So even describing one country as one particular culture is relatively dangerous. Hence why we want to be on the ground in each individual territory and understand that. So on one level you could say that there would be quite a lot of difference between the North African region and maybe Arabia or GCC countries and the Levant, but then there is a commonality of language with some of the Arabic, with a lot of the history, with a lot of the political structures, with a lot of the infrastructure of the countries. So in many ways there's lots of similarities, but I think that the exciting thing for marketeers is to understand the differences and to celebrate those. I think it's a natural fit that it should be part of the Middle East North Africa region as one whole group, but we should never consider 350 million people as one personality. I think that would be a pretty big mistake.
You don't feel sometimes that, for example, Morocco or Tunisia are more close to Europe than Middle East?
Yeah, in some instances that is entirely true. But almost the question I would challenge you to put is, why would that be important? Because I suspect, talking to a Tunisian, they want to talk about being Tunisian, and a Moroccan wants to talk about being Moroccan. So whether they're close to a Europe or an Africa or an Asia or any other greater description, why does that matter? It doesn't make you a personality. Your family, your friends, your ambition. That's really what is the essence of someone. So I think that's the interesting area to look at similarities in.
Good. In the last 5 years, the industry are changing, all media are changing. What kind of change do you feel that, for example, MEDIACOM can introduce for advertiser, and what kind of new opportunities that we can develop?
Yeah. Clearly, there's the digital environment is one that is very much on everybody's agenda at the present moment in time. If you look to some of our European or international businesses, the digital space is very, very heavily populated. I think in the UK, something like 40% of all advertising budget goes into digital investment. Clearly in this region, single figures or early double figures is more the norm. So clearly that's going to be a rapid learning curve. And I think the challenge is for us not to just look at what has been done elsewhere and to mirror that, but to actually embrace what is really the digital relationship between a consumer and the way that they connect to content and to media and to brands, and actually be at the vanguard of inventing and understanding new relationships. You know, the people who envisaged Google's glasses, they didn't start from looking at what was already on the marketplace. They looked at what they thought would be exciting, where instead of visiting the internet becomes an overlayer over you. So I think digital will be huge. Measurability and transparency is clearly going to be an important evolution of our business, and it's natural that every emerging and developing marketplace, as it gets bigger, it can afford to audit and measure itself better. It needs to audit and measure itself better, so that comes as a natural progression. It's not a criticism in any way, shape or form, but return on investment, as the check gets bigger, businesses need to know that they're making money work properly. So I think we all are responsible for allowing ourselves to be measured and judged, and recognising you don't get it 100% right every single time. You learn more from the things sometimes that don't work than the things that do. So I would say digital and clarity, return on investment, I think will be the two very, very strong subjects for the near future.
MEDIACOM as a part of WPP. Recently, Roy Haddad was appointed the first director of Middle East and North Africa for WPP, with the global strategy to develop this region. What kind of strategy globally you will have to improve this position?
I'm sure that Roy would be better to tell you exactly what his strategy is, but I suspect given his amazing experience and his expertise and his renowned skill in our business, he will probably tell you the very simple philosophy that I think has guided him through his life, which is we want to do absolutely brilliant work for our clients to make them super successful. He'd put it a lot more eloquently than I do, but I think that's literally the basis for our strategic development, is to be the best in class in absolutely everything we do, and where there are gaps in markets or in skill set, let's go and build and take the best people on and allow them to do the best work.
Good. Let's return more to Tunisia. You found here a team. It will be Tunisian team, or it will be another person that will be appointed here?
No, we've appointed Iman Stambouli, who is Managing Director of the business. It's very much about a Tunisian team. Again, if we're going to walk a mile in a consumer's shoes, you have to do it in their own language, with their own culture and their own people. So all of our operations around the region will very much be populated and managed by local skill. We have a regional team based in Dubai who have, I think we have 17 different nationalities based in the office. So we will bring talent from wherever is needed, both within the region, from Asia and out of Europe or out of the States as is needed, because this is about bringing skill to a process, not about bringing a nationality or a culture. So on the ground, very local, additional resource that is multi-local and multicultural, so that we have the most exciting and forward-thinking people driving our clients' business.
How do you find the young people Tunisian team? Is there potential with the Tunisian advertiser, with Tunisian who work in advertising sector field?
The energy, the enthusiasm, the just willingness to go the extra mile is infectious here. In fact, it's infectious in the whole of North Africa, but particularly in Tunisia. And if you look at the recent awards in our region, you know, and the winner is, and it's always, loads come from Tunisia, so this is clearly a very exciting, creative environment. It's a dynamic environment. There's a real enthusiasm, I think, for marketing and communications, and there's a real sense of hope and ambition. And I think that's what I feel most when I come here. People smile, and if people are smiling, it's a good start to the day. And I think we can build a very good team here. We've got a good foundation with 10 people, and hopefully in not too distant future we will have significantly increased the talent on the ground.
Good. Does Tunisia will be a hub for a region, or?
Yeah, we will run Libya out of here for the moment, as and when it becomes appropriate for us to have a standalone Libyan operation, and clearly when perhaps the economic and political situation is a little bit more stable, then we would think about investing in a specific office in the Libyan marketplace. But for the moment, this will hub the two territories.
Mr. Nick Barron, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much indeed. It's been a pleasure.